A very warm good afternoon to all of you. Dear students, I welcome you all in digital class of biology. Students, as we all know that we are studying chapter diversity in living organism, and today we will finish this chapter with its last topic, that is animal kingdom. But before that, I would like to say something which Lord Krishna says. Student, he says that whatever he remembers, he means particular person. Okay, whatever he remembers when departing from the body means when he is dying. That alone is reached by him because of his constant thinking of that. So, dear student, please have positive thinking. Okay, and try to devote your maximum of the time, okay, in helping others, and ultimately you will get the help of Lord Krishna. Okay, so with this beautiful thought, I would like to start with my today's topic. Students, as we all know that we are studying chapter diversity in living organism, and so far we have studied that all the living organism on this earth has been divided into 5 kingdoms, such as your Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Monera are the most simplest organism, whereas animalia are the most complex organism. After that, we have studied about Monera, okay, in detail, about Protista, fungi, and plantae. And today we will study about animalia. Clear? And who has given the 5 kingdom of classification? It was given by R.H. Whitaker. Don't forget this name, okay? Very important. R.H. Whitaker. Clear? He has given 5 kingdom of classification, means he distributed all the member, okay, all the living organism on this earth into 5 kingdoms, such as Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. So dear student, I hope so that this is visible to you. Okay, now in this lecture we will study about the classification of animals. Okay, all the animals, okay, of this world is divided into 10 groups, such as your poriferans, Coelenterata, Platyhelminth, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Protochordata, and Vertebrata. First of all, we will study about porifera. Student, what is this porifera? The word porifera means organism with holes. Okay, pores. These are non-motile animals, okay, which are attached to some solid spot. Clear? There are holes, or I can say pores, all over their body. Clear? These lead to a canal system that help in circulating water throughout the body to bring in food and oxygen. Student, these animals are covered with a hard outside layer of skeleton. The body design involves very minimal differentiation and division into tissues, okay, and they are commonly called sponges. Clear? And if I talk about their habitat, mainly they are marine, okay, we can found them in sea, okay, and some of the example are your Spongilla, Cycon, and Euplectilla. You need to learn the example of these, okay. Please watch the picture of porifera carefully, okay. These organisms we found in sea. Clear? After that, student, there are Coelenterata. What are these Coelenterata? Another name for these Coelenterata is Cnidaria. Okay, C is silent here. Okay, we call it Cnidaria. Students, these animals, okay, they live in water, okay, thus they are aquatic animals. They show more body design differentiation as comparison to your porifera. There is a cavity in the body which is known as coelom. The body is made up of 2 layers of cells. One makeup cell on the outside of the body and other makes the inner lining of the body. Some of these species live in colonies, okay, while other have a solitary lives, okay. I can say hydra, jellyfish, sea anemones, these are the common example of your Coelenterata. Please watch these pictures carefully. All these things you can see, okay, in your sea, okay, you can see in sea, understood? Next student, platyhelminths. What are these platyhelminths? Another name of these platyhelminths are flatworm. Student, the body of animal in this group is far more complex design, okay, than in the two other groups we have considered so far, okay, that is your Porifera and Coelenterata. Clear? The body is bilaterally symmetrical, meaning that the left, okay, and the right halves of the body have the same design, okay, as we can see. If I'll cut it in this way, one half will be same as the other half, okay. Student, there are three layers of cells from which differentiated tissues can be made, thus they are triploblastic animals, okay. This allows outside and inside body lining as well as some organs to be made. There is thus some degree of tissue formation also. Clear? However, there is no true internal body cavity, make it sure, in which well developed organs can be accommodated, okay. In your platyhelminth, the body of an organism is flattened dorsoventrally, as you can see here, okay, which mean what? Which means that it is flat from your top to bottom, okay, and that is why they are known as flatworm, okay. They can be either free living or parasitic, okay. Parasitic means what? That they can live inside the body of the host, okay. And some example are free living animals are planaria, okay. Or if I talk about parasitic, then it is your liver fluke, okay, or tapeworm, understood? Means your liver fluke and tapeworm, they will cause diseases in human beings, okay. That is why they are parasitic, whereas planaria, okay, it does not depend upon anything, that is why it is free living. Clear? Next student, nematoda. What are these nematoda? Student, the nematoda body is also bilaterally symmetrical, okay. Bilaterally symmetrical means what? We can cut this into two equal halves, okay. And triploblastic means what? Made up of three layers. However, the body is cylindrical, okay. In case of your platyhelminth, we have studied that it is flat, okay, but here it would be cylindrical. Clear? And there are tissues but no real organs. Remember, in case of your platyhelminth, we have studied that there are no tissues, but here in your nematode there are tissues but no real organs. Clear? Although I can say a sort of body cavity or pseudocoelom is present. These are very familiar as parasitic worm, okay, means which cause certain kind of disease such as your elephantiasis, okay. And this is caused by your filarial worms, okay, or I can say the worms in the intestine such as your roundworm or pinworm. Clear? And some example are your ascariasis, wucheria. I hope so that you all are getting. Next student, it is annelida. What are these annelida? Student, these annelida are also bilateral symmetrical, okay, means when I will cut it, okay, one will be the mirror image of the other, and also triploblastic. But in addition, they have a true body cavity now, okay, and this allows true organ to be packaged in the body structure. There is thus extensive organ differentiation, and this differentiation occurs in a segmental fashion. Clear? With the segments lined up one after the other from head to tail. Clear? As we can see here, okay, it is from head to tail. Clear? These animals are found in a variety of habitat, okay, such as I can say fresh water, okay, or marine water, as well as on land. Earthworm, leeches and nereis are the example of your annelida. Watch this picture carefully. Okay, then you will understand about their characteristics easily. Next student, it is arthropoda. Okay, arthropoda, under this group, all the organism which will come who have jointed legs. Okay, and we can see in this picture. Okay, and student, this is the largest group of animal. Okay, under this many organisms come. Okay, like your crab, prawn, spider, cockroach, scorpion, butterfly, housefly, centipede, every organism, okay, which we can see in our surrounding, that will be under your arthropoda. Okay, these animals are bilaterally symmetrical and segmented. Okay, there is an open circulatory system. Okay, now this is new thing that we are studying in this, and so the blood does not flow in well defined blood vessel. Okay, and the coelomic cavity is blood filled. They have jointed legs. Okay, the word arthropod means jointed leg. Okay, some familiar examples are your, I've told you. Okay, speak. Prawn. Okay, then spider, butterfly, housefly, crab, cockroaches, scorpion, and centipede. Okay, that is why it is the largest group of animal. Very important student, arthropoda. Okay, largest group of animals. Next, mollusca. Student, in this also there is bilateral symmetry. Okay, the coelomic cavity is reduced and there is little segmentation. They have an open circulatory system that we had studied in your arthropoda also, and kidney like organ is also there now for excretion. This is new thing we are studying. Clear? There is a foot that is used for moving around. Okay, example of this group is snail, mussels, chiton, and octopus. Students, as we are moving, okay, we will find that that the new organism have some of the new character. Okay, such as in mollusca, now we have seen that it have a kidney like organ which was absent in your arthropoda. Clear? Now more complex group is your echinodermata. Clear? What happened in this? Student, this, okay, echinodermata, it is derived from your Greek word, okay, that is echinos. Echinos means hedgehog and derma means skin. Okay, thus these are spiny skinned organism. Clear? As it is given also, these are exclusively free living marine animal. Okay, they do not live inside the body of other organism, but they are free living. Okay, in your marine habit, in your sea. They are triploblastic. Okay, this we are studying from the very first, and have a coelomic cavity. They also have a peculiar water driven tube system that they use for moving around. See, now they have this new thing. Clear? They have hard calcium carbonate structure that they used as a skeleton. Okay, and example of your this group is starfish, sea urchin, feather star, and sea cucumber. Understood? Next student, it is your protochordata. What are these protochordata? These animals are also bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and have a coelom. In addition, they show a new feature of body design. Clear? Namely notochord. At least at some stages during their lives. Clear? The notochord is a long rod-like sport structure that runs along the back of the animal, separating the nervous tissue from the gut. It provides place for muscles to attach for ease of movement. Okay, student, this protochord, okay, they may not have a proper notochord present in all the stages in their lives or for the entire length of the animals. Protochordates are marine animal, remember, and it include your Balanoglossus, okay, then Amphioxus, then Herdmania. Okay. Next student, vertebrata. What are these vertebrata? These animals, okay, have true vertebral column and internal skeleton, which allow complete differentiation of the muscle attachment, clear, for the movement. Vertebrates are bilaterally symmetrical, okay, then triploblastic also, coelomic also, and segmented also. Clear? And then students, with such a complex differentiation of the body tissue and organ, all chordates possess following features. Okay, first of all, that they have notochord. They have notochord. Second is that they have dorsal nerve cord. Next, they are triploblastic. They have paired gill pouches and are coelomate. Clear? Student, these vertebrates are further grouped into 5 classes such as Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammalia. Now we will study about these. Student, first of all, it is Pisces. What are these Pisces? Student, these are fish. Okay, these are fish. They are exclusively aquatic animals. Their skin is covered with scales, plates. You know many things about Pisces. Okay, student, they obtain oxygen dissolved in water by using their gills. The body is streamlined. Okay, and a muscular tail is used for movement. They are cold blooded and their heart have only 2 chamber. Okay, unlike the 4 that is present in humans. They lay eggs. We can think of many kind of fishes, some with skeleton made entirely of cartilage such as your shark, okay, and some with the skeleton made up of both bone and cartilage such as tuna, rohu. Clear? Next, student, about amphibia. These animals differ from the fish in the lack of scales, in having mucus glands in the skin and a 3-chambered heart. Respiration, okay, is through either gills or lungs. They lay eggs like fishes only. These animals are found both in water and land, thus known as, okay, amphibia of the plant kingdoms of animal kingdom. Okay, frogs are known as the amphibia of the animal kingdom. Clear? And the examples are frog, toad and salamander. Clear? Who is known as the bryophytes of plant kingdom? Bryophytes. Okay, why? Because they need both land and water for their survival. Okay, next, student, reptilia. What are these reptilia? These animals are cold blooded. They have scales and breathe through lungs, while most of them have a 3-chambered heart. Crocodile have 4-chambered heart. Okay, mind it, student, all reptilia have 3-chambered, whereas crocodile have 4-chambered. They lay eggs, okay, like fishes and amphibia, in water. Okay, and they have tough covering. And student, they examples of your reptilia are your snakes, turtle, lizard, okay, and crocodile I have told you earlier only. Student, about aves. What are these aves? These are warm-blooded animal. Okay, till now we have studied about cold-blooded animals. Now we are studying about warm-blooded animal. Okay, they have 4-chambered heart. They lay eggs, and there is an outer covering of feathers, and 2 forelimbs are modified for flight. Okay, or flying, I can say. They breathe through lungs. All birds fall in this category. Okay, such as your crow, sparrow, ducks, pigeon, okay, ostrich and stork. Next, student, mammalia. Okay, these are warm-blooded animals with 4-chambered heart. They have mammary glands for the production of milk to nourish their young. Their skin has hair as well as sweat and oil glands. Most mammal familiar to us produce live young ones. Okay, and however, a few of them like the platypus and echidna, they lay egg, and some like kangaroo, they give birth to very poorly developed young ones. And some examples are your cat, okay, bat, then your dog, lion, human beings. Clear? Student, next topic is about binomial nomenclature. What is this binomial nomenclature? It was given up by your Carl Linnaeus. Okay, what it says? it says that student biological name must be in Latin word and in italics forms, okay, and the scientific name must be of two word, that is genus and species, okay. Genus name must be capital and species name must be small letter, okay. And biological name is, if it is printed, it must be in italic, whereas if it is handwritten, then it must be underlined, okay. You will understand about nomenclature by just this example, okay. We all know that the botanical name of mango is mangifera, okay. So see here, this is genus and this is species, okay. The first alphabet of your genus must be capital, whereas the first alphabet of your species must be small, okay. This I have written with my hand, so I must underline it, okay. But if I'm printing it, then it must be in italics, okay, and it should derive from your Latin word, okay. So this much only is there. You need to learn the rules for nomenclature, okay. This is important. And who have given this binomial nomenclature? It was given by Carl Linnaeus. Clear? Dear student, with this I have finished my chapter, that is diversity in living organism. If you have any query, please feel free to call me. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.